That we found out that Blake Lively's team, according to her attorney, is actually planning to file an amended complaint in their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and others. According to her attorney, Michael Gottlieb, that is going to include new claims from Blake Lively, and they're going to be bringing this lawsuit against new defendants.
The same tactic that they're doing over and over again of trying to manipulate the courts to get what they want.
Parties, of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
Judge Lyman had already given Blake Lively's legal team an extension until February 14th, Valentine's Day. But that still wasn't enough for them. Instead of using the time wisely, they pushed their luck and came back asking for even more. This time until March 5th. But Judge Lyman wasn't having it. They had already received extra time, and now they were demanding an even longer delay. Their excuse? They needed more witnesses to testify against Justin Baldoni. One name that surfaced was Jenny Slate, who played Baldoni's sister in It Ends With Us. Jenny had publicly supported Blake before, dismissing claims against her as baseless attacks. She even issued a strong statement defending Blake, saying, "Blake is a leader, a loyal friend, and a trusted source of emotional support. What has been revealed about the attacks on her is deeply disturbing and incredibly harmful. I commend her bravery and stand with her." At first, it seemed like Jenny was fully on board, but when it came time to testify, she shocked everyone, especially Blake, by suddenly backing out. She denied direct involvement and distanced herself from the case entirely. Blake's legal team still tried to subpoena her, believing she had personal experiences with Baldoni that could help their case. But many suspected this was nothing more than a strategy to make it look like Blake's claims had more credibility. When that plan failed, her team scrambled to find a new angle. That's when they asked for yet another extension. But Judge Lyman saw right through it. When he pressed them for a solid reason, Blake's lawyers gave a long, complicated explanation, insisting they needed time to add new defendants. One of those defendants was Jed Wallace and his company, Street Relations. Blake's team argued that Wallace had filed a 10-page lawsuit in Texas federal court, supposedly overlapping with their case. They claimed this created delays. At first, it sounded like a reasonable excuse, until Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, stepped in. He wasn't about to let them get away with it. He arrived in court armed with proof that Blake's team had refused to grant an extension when Baldoni's team had requested one in January, right in the middle of the devastating LA wildfires. While Baldoni's side was dealing with an actual crisis, Blake's team refused to show any leniency. Friedman exposed their hypocrisy, stating, "Despite the Lively party's inexplicable refusal to grant an extension when we requested one during the Los Angeles wildfires, we have no objection to their request now." If Blake's team got more time, then Baldoni's team wanted the same deal, pushing their own response deadline to April 15th. Baldoni's lawyers weren't worried about Blake's team getting an extension. In fact, they said, "Take all the time you want. We don't care." But they made it clear, if Blake's side got an extension, so would Baldoni's. A fair game, right? But Friedman wasn't done. He dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the courtroom. He revealed that Blake's team had tried to blame Jed Wallace for the delays, claiming his lawsuit was the reason they needed more time. But here's the truth. Blake had actually filed legal action against Wallace first on January 21st, 2 weeks before Wallace even responded with his own lawsuit. Friedman laid it all out, stating, "What the Lively party conveniently failed to mention is that the ongoing litigation in Texas was initiated by Ms. Lively herself. She filed legal action against Mr. Wallace in Texas state court on January 21st, roughly 2 weeks before he responded with his lawsuit." The courtroom went silent. It was clear. Blake's team had just been caught trying to pull a fast one on the judge, and Friedman wasn't going to let them get away with it. Judge Lyman wasn't amused. He denied their request for a month-long extension without hesitation. Instead, he gave them a single extra day to submit their amendment. The look of defeat on Blake's team was impossible to miss. Shoulders slumped, heads down. They knew they were running out of tricks. The judge made it clear their excuses weren't working anymore, and he wasn't going to let them drag this case out any longer. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse for Blake's side, they absolutely did. Remember how Blake's legal team tried to hit Brian Friedman with a gag order to stop him from speaking to the media? That move backfired spectacularly. The court shut it down immediately. Nice try, but no. Now, Friedman was free to say whatever he wanted about the case, exactly what Blake's team had been trying to prevent. Imagine trying to control the story, only for the court to hand a megaphone to your biggest rival. And then, just when Blake's team thought things couldn't spiral further, Baldoni's team launched an entire website dedicated to the case. Over the weekend, Baldoni's lawyers dropped a bombshell. They unveiled a newly launched website featuring a revised legal complaint, a 168-page timeline of events, and, most devastating of all, never-before-seen text messages between Blake and Baldoni. This wasn't just a simple legal filing, it was a full-blown digital vault of receipts, documents, and evidence. Every detail was made public for the world to see. Blake's team had been trying to keep things under wraps, but Baldoni's team blew the lid off everything. Now the battle wasn't just in the courtroom, it was unfolding in front of the entire world. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, Ryan Reynolds got pulled into the chaos. One alleged text from Reynolds to Baldoni showed just how excited he was about It Ends With Us. He reportedly wrote, "This is going to be incredible. I happen to adore you, Justin." At the time, it was just a friendly message, but now, that text carries a completely different weight. Blake's team, already drowning in legal troubles, made a desperate attempt to have the website taken down. They begged the court, arguing that Baldoni's team shouldn't be allowed to release evidence like this, but the court wasn't buying it. Their reasoning? Blake's team went to the press first. They had used major media outlets like the New York Times to tell their side of the story. Now, they wanted to stop Baldoni from doing the same. If Blake's side had no problem going public when it suited them, they couldn't demand that Baldoni stay silent when he started fighting back. At this point, Blake's lawyers must be wondering, how much worse can this get? Every single move they've made has backfired spectacularly. And let's not forget what's really at stake here: $400 million. That's not just a bad loss, that's career-shattering. Even for Hollywood stars like Blake and Ryan, losing that kind of money would be devastating. It would force a complete reassessment of their future projects, endorsements, and financial empire. Right now, it's not just about legal fees or reputation, it's about potential financial ruin. With every court ruling, every new revelation, and every failed strategy, this case is slipping further and further out of Blake's control. And the real question now, not just whether she'll lose, but how much more can she take before everything falls apart? What do you guys think? Will Blake's team find a way to turn things around, or is this the beginning of the end for her legal battle? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any updates.